Tuesday, 2nd December, 10:30 p.m. reviewers. Hello and welcome. You're still watching us on ERi-TV, presenting you the domestic and international news prepared for this session, live from our headquarters in Asmara. I'm Hermel Lagermai, inviting you to join us on our tonight's news broadcast. Let's start with the major headlines. Promotional program on measures to control communicable disease prevalence. Forests and wildlife in Mulki subzone. President Putin grants visa-free entry to Chinese travelers. And more than 1,100 confirmed dead and 800 missing in catastrophic southern Asian floods. In our detailed domestic news. Promotional program focusing on measures that should be taken to control the prevalence of communicable diseases was conducted for owners of various social service province institutions in Asmara. The promotional program, organized by the Promotion and Information Unit of Ministry of Health on 1st December, covered HIV/AIDS, hepatitis and cervical cancer. The health professionals provided detailed briefings focusing on the spread of these diseases at the national and global level. They called for seeking immediate treatment when symptoms appear and for the proper use of prescribed medicines. Noting that regular vaccination against cervical cancer is being provided, vaccination is regularly being provided to females aged 14, while women aged 30 are recommended to undergo regular checkups. Mr. Solomon Girmay, chairman of the Tourism Service Provision Institution, said that the objective of the promotion program was to enhance the understanding of the owners of social service provision institutions on controlling the prevalence of communicable diseases and to enable them to play their due part in the effort. Mr. Guish Tawalda, representative of the Forestry and Wildlife Authority, reported that the strong efforts to preserve and develop forest and wildlife resources are registering encouraging results. Mr. Guish indicated that as a result of the active control mechanisms put in place, coupled with awareness-raising activities to enhance public understanding, the types of trees and wildlife that were on the verge of extinction are now reviving. He went on to say that the corrective measures taken against those engaged in deforestation activities are also contributing to the development of forestry and wildlife in the area. The people engaged in forestry and wildlife preservation activities in the Faulina administrative area indicated that the coordinated effort is significantly contributing to the preservation initiative. The National Union of Eritrean Women Central Office organized vocational training for its members in the northern Red Sea region. Mrs. Zaid Mesfun, head of administration and finance of the union, said that the theoretical and practical training covered finance administration, documentation, human resources management, material administration and reporting. Mrs. Zaid called on the trainees to apply the knowledge they gained in their daily activities at their workplaces. She also said that similar training programs will be continued to be organized. Residents of villages in the Golo administrative area in San'afa subzone are conducting a dirt road renovation popular campaign on the road that connects San'afa with Al-Hanara administrative area. Mr. Ibrahim Omar, managing director of the administrative area, said that the objective of the popular campaign was to renovate the dirt road that was damaged due to flooding and to address the challenges residents have been facing due to the lack of transportation services. Golo administrative area is located 12 km east of San'afa and is home to about 1,500 residents. Viewers, stay tuned for our international news right after the short break. Welcome back. President Vladimir Putin has signed an executive order temporarily waiving visa requirements for Chinese nationals, a reciprocal step after Beijing lifted visa requirements for Russian passport holders earlier this year. The measure, which takes immediate effect and runs through September 14, 2026, allows Chinese citizens to enter Russia without a visa for up to 30 days for tourism or work. The mutual visa waiver is part of a one-year trial program. Russia and China already operate a visa-free regime for group tours, and last year, Beijing began allowing Russian travelers in transit to stay for up to 10 days without a visa. Accordingly, from January up to July of this year alone, 237,000 Russians have traveled to China, while 262,000 Chinese citizens have paid visit to Russia. President Putin's pledge, combined with recent diplomatic tensions between China and Japan, has triggered a surge in searches and bookings for travel from China to Russia, market analysts told the Moscow Times last week. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia announced it will sign an agreement that will grant visa-free travel to citizens of both countries for up to 90 days. Hurricanes and extreme weather have killed at least 366 people in Sri Lanka, 604 in Indonesia, and 176 in Thailand, according to authorities. Rescue and recovery efforts are underway in parts of South and Southeast Asia, where the number of those killed in devastating flooding continues to rise. Rescuers in Sri Lanka are still searching for 367 people, with the downpours flooding homes, fields and roads and triggering landslides in the hilly central region. Nearly 1 million people have been impacted by the heavy rains and floods, which forced nearly 200,000 into shelters, the country's disaster management center said. In Southeast Asia, close to 700 people were killed as 2 different cyclones hit the region. Rescuers in Indonesia are still searching for at least 464 people missing, according to official figures. People have started clearing mud, trees and wreckage from roads on the weekend as recovery operations continued. More than 28,000 homes have been damaged, with 1.4 million people affected by the rare tropical storm. The country's President Prabowo Subianto called it a catastrophe and pledged to rebuild infrastructure as he visited the 3 affected provinces today, where nearly 300,000 people have been displaced by the flooding. Dear viewers, we are done with the news prepared for this session, and now it's time for a quick recap of the major headlines. Promotional program on measures to control communicable diseases prevalence. Forests and wildlife in Molki subzone. President Putin grants visa-free entry to Chinese travelers. And more than 1,800 confirmed dead and 800 missing in catastrophic southern Asian floods. Ladies and gentlemen, that was all for tonight. Thank you for having us and have a blessed one.